Where were you before you were born? And where will you go when your body turns to dust? Not just your name, your job, or your memories, but you, the watcher behind the eyes, the presence that quietly observes every thought, every feeling, every breath. That is consciousness. And today we ask a question that has haunted sages, mystics, and seekers for millennia. Where does it come from? Before we begin, type this in the comments. I am more than this body. Let's see how many souls are awake. And if you're ready to go deeper than you've ever dared before, tap the like button, not just for the algorithm, but as a symbol that you're ready to remember who you really are. Imagine waking up inside a dream, but instead of waking into your bed, you awaken into a realization that what you believed was the limit of your existence was merely a veil. You begin to feel that you are not your thoughts. You are not your past. You are the witness of all that arises. This video isn't just about consciousness. It is consciousness speaking to itself, remembering what it has always known. And the fact that you're here, right now, is no accident. Something within you called you to this moment. A whisper beneath the noise, a longing to remember. We've been told 1,000 times that the brain creates consciousness, that it's just chemicals and neurons firing in cold biological circuits. But what if I told you that's like saying a radio creates music? That your brain is not the source, but the receiver. And what it tunes into has existed long before your name was given. That's what we're going to explore together. An ancient mystery buried beneath science and spirit alike. A question that opens the doorway to everything. Your soul, your purpose, your connection to something eternal. In the next few minutes, we'll travel into ancient temples carved with forgotten symbols. We'll sit beside mystics who dissolved their egos in deserts and mountaintops. We'll walk through secret doctrines, obscure manuscripts, and cutting-edge science that all point to a single, staggering truth. Consciousness doesn't come from matter. It precedes it. But I must warn you, once you see this, you can't unsee it. It will challenge your identity, your beliefs, even the very fabric of reality you've grown comfortable with. And yet, that's the first step. Because when you peel back the illusion, what you discover is not fear, but freedom. A freedom so vast, so profound, it changes the way you look at life, death, and everything in between. So stay with me. Don't blink. Don't scroll. Because the answer isn't just out there. It's in here, waiting for you to remember. Thousands of years ago, long before our modern languages shaped thought into neat boxes, ancient civilizations gazed at the stars and asked the same question we ask today. What animates the flesh? In the temples of Kemet, what we now call Egypt, the priests did not view consciousness as a product of the body. They called it Ka, the divine essence, a soul force that existed before birth and lingered after death. The body was but a vessel, a temporary expression of an infinite, ever-living light. Across the world, in the Vedic texts of India, sages sat beneath banyan trees and composed hymns to the Atman, the eternal self. Not a mind, not an ego, but a boundless awareness untouched by time or change. According to the Upanishads, Atman is Brahman. The self is the universe. In other words, consciousness doesn't come from the world. The world emerges within consciousness. Reality is a dream within the mind of the Absolute. And yet, somewhere along the path, we forgot. Western philosophy, led by thinkers like Descartes, began to divide what was once unified. I think, therefore I am, he said. But this subtle shift placed thinking above being. Consciousness became associated with logic, calculation, and cognition. The soul was exiled from the conversation, banished by the rise of materialism and the scientific revolution. And though science gave us power over the physical world, it left us empty when asking why we're here at all. But even in science, cracks began to form in the wall. Quantum physics shattered our comfortable assumptions. The double-slit experiment revealed something strange. Observation collapses probability into reality. In simple terms, without a conscious observer, the universe doesn't behave like we expect it to. Reality isn't a fixed stage. It's a living, breathing mystery that seems to respond to awareness itself. Max Planck, the father of quantum theory, once said, "I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness." The ancients knew this, the sages knew this. But somewhere in the noise of modern life, we stopped listening. In the secret societies of Renaissance Europe, the Hermetic texts were studied in candle-lit rooms. "As above, so below," they whispered. "As within, so without." These weren't metaphors. They were codes, pointers to a forgotten truth. That consciousness is not in the brain. It projects the brain. That everything you see, touch, feel, or think is happening within you. The cosmos is not separate. It is your reflection. And then there's the Gnostic Gospels, hidden away for centuries, condemned by empire. They taught that the divine spark, the true source of consciousness, was trapped in matter, waiting to be awakened. Salvation wasn't found through doctrine, but through gnosis, direct experience of the truth. And that experience? It began the moment one realized, I am not this body. I am not this name. I am the light behind the eyes. Why has this truth been buried? Because a being who knows they are infinite cannot be controlled. A person who remembers their divine origin can no longer be manipulated, enslaved, or made to live in fear. They become dangerous to systems built on illusion. This is why every mystical tradition, from Kabbalah to Sufism, alchemy to Zen, has guarded the knowledge of consciousness like sacred fire. Hidden in symbols, encrypted in myth, passed from mouth to ear in secret. Because it's not just information, it's transformation. And now, that fire has found you. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You're standing before a mirror, and the reflection stares back, not just with your face, but with your entire life, every memory, every emotion, every thought, reflected like a flicker of light across still water. But who, then, is doing the watching? Who is aware of the reflection itself? This is the beginning of understanding consciousness. It is not the reflection, not the mirror, not even the body standing there. It is the silent, untouchable observer, the awareness that witnesses everything, yet remains unchanged. To understand where consciousness comes from, we must first let go of everything we think we know. We are taught to believe that consciousness is a byproduct of biology, a side effect of a complex brain. But ask yourself this: have you ever touched a thought? Have you ever weighed an emotion? These things have no mass, no measurable location, and yet they define the very core of your experience. That is the paradox. The intangible drives the tangible. The unseen shapes the seen. The ancients described this through metaphor and symbol. In the Hermetic tradition, they spoke of the one mind, the infinite intelligence that flows through all things. Picture the ocean, vast, boundless, eternal. Now imagine a single wave rising from its surface. That wave is your individual consciousness. It may appear separate, but it is made of the ocean, connected to it, inseparable from it. The wave rises, dances, crashes, and returns. So too do we, from the source. The brain, then, is not the creator. It is the receiver. A tuning device, much like a radio. When you turn the dial, you don't create the music, you receive it. The frequency was always there, waiting to be caught. Likewise, consciousness exists on a level beyond form, and your body is simply a channel. You are not generating awareness. You are accessing it. This is why people across all cultures report similar experiences in altered states. Near-death moments, deep meditation, psychedelic journeys. They describe floating above their bodies, merging with light, encountering pure love, timelessness, unity. How can such experiences be so consistent if they were simply tricks of the brain? The answer is simple and profound. They aren't tricks. They are glimpses into what you truly are when the mask of ego dissolves. Let's take another angle. Think of a lucid dream, a dream in which you suddenly become aware that you're dreaming. You can fly, create, explore. But something changes the moment awareness enters the dream. You gain power. You gain insight. You realize that the dream was never separate from you. In the same way, consciousness is that awareness within the dream of life. It's not what you see. It's the fact that you know you're seeing. Now consider this. If your consciousness was truly bound to the brain, then damage to the brain would destroy the soul. But people with minimal brain tissue have lived normal lives. Children born with hydrocephalus, their brains compressed to the edges of the skull, have demonstrated full awareness, memory, even intelligence. How can that be explained by science alone? It can't, because the truth is, the essence of who you are is not in the folds of gray matter. It's beyond it. Consciousness is not something you have. It's something you are. You are never just a name, a story, a body. You are the space in which the story unfolds. You are the light shining through the eyes. And when you begin to recognize that, your entire relationship with reality begins to shift. You stop chasing meaning and begin to embody it. You stop fearing death because you remember. You cannot kill what was never born. And so we arrive at a strange yet liberating truth. Consciousness has no origin because it is the origin. It did not come from the universe. The universe came from it. Now, take a breath. Let it be slow, deliberate, felt. And in that stillness, ask yourself, if I am not the body, not the thoughts, not the fleeting sensations, then what am I? You are awareness itself, but not just any awareness, an ancient, boundless intelligence that has forgotten its own face, dreaming it is small, fragile, temporary. But what if that forgetting was part of the design? What if this entire life was a puzzle meant to awaken the one who's been asleep behind your eyes? Let us go further into the mystery. One of the greatest illusions of our age is that we are individuals sealed off from one another, separate beings with private minds. But what if that separateness is only a surface illusion, like waves on the same sea, different in form but made of the same essence? Imagine a field, a vast, invisible field of awareness, and each one of us is a point of focus within it. Different perspectives, but not different in substance. This is not just poetic language. This is what some of the most advanced thinkers and mystics have taught across time. Carl Jung called it the collective unconscious, a deep ocean of memory, symbols, and wisdom that links all human minds. In the East, it's known as Indra's net, a cosmic lattice where each point contains the whole, where every soul is a jewel reflecting every other. And in modern physics, some now speak of a non-local consciousness, a strange truth emerging from quantum entanglement, where information can be shared instantly across space. It's as if the universe is not in consciousness, but consciousness is holding the universe. And if that's true, if you and I are simply different masks worn by the same infinite actor, then every act of kindness is self-love. Every awakening is a shared flame. Every death is not an ending, but a return. What once felt like isolation now becomes the greatest intimacy. But here's where it becomes truly fascinating. Consciousness is not passive. It is creative. It doesn't just observe reality, it shapes it. Your beliefs, your focus, your inner state, they aren't just private experiences. They are forces that alter the world around you. Just as a lucid dreamer can reshape their dream, a conscious being can reshape their life. This is what ancient magicians and mystics have always known, that reality bends to awareness like metal to flame. This is why they trained the mind. This is why they guarded their practices in silence and symbol, because they understood a dangerous truth. Most people are asleep within the dream, creating without knowing, manifesting their fears, living in cages made from thought. But those who awaken can choose. They can dream with intention. They can speak reality into form. This is the deeper meaning of spells, of mantras, of sacred rituals. They are not superstition. They are technologies of consciousness, ways of aligning thought, word, and energy to unlock deeper levels of being. And when used with awareness, they open doors not just within the self, but within the fabric of the universe. But beware. Awakening is not always bliss. To see clearly is to strip away illusion. It means facing the parts of you still ruled by fear, desire, and ego. It means walking into the shadows and remembering that the light you seek has always been within. This is the path of the initiate, the hero, the alchemist. And it begins the moment you ask not "Who am I?" but what is watching the one who asks. You are not here by accident. Something inside you is stirring. The dream is becoming lucid. And as you begin to wake up, you realize something terrifying and liberating. You've been the creator all along. So now you know the door is open, but knowledge alone is not enough. What's sacred must be lived. Because the moment you step away from the video, the noise of the world will return. Notifications, obligations, distractions, and the truth you've felt here will begin to fade like a dream at dawn. Unless you anchor it, unless you practice it. Let's begin simply, with presence. This isn't just mindfulness. This is sacred attention. Right now, wherever you are, become aware of your body, not with thought, with presence. Feel your breath enter and leave. Feel the subtle hum beneath your skin. That is life force. That is consciousness expressing through form. You've never needed to find the divine. You've only needed to slow down enough to notice it. Each morning, before the world makes demands, sit for just 5 minutes. Close your eyes, not to escape, but to return. Place your attention behind your thoughts, behind your emotions. Observe the stream of the mind without getting pulled into it. You are not the current. You are the stillness it flows through. This single practice, done consistently, can begin to peel away layers of false identity and reconnect you with the source. But you must go deeper still. That completes the full script on Where Does Consciousness Come From?, crafted for depth, emotional resonance, and spiritual impact. Here's what we can do next. Voiceover format. I can format this for narration by Dallin Storyteller, adding cues for tone, pause, and pacing to fit your cinematic delivery style. Visual storyboard. I can break down the visuals scene by scene for 2D animation, tailored to your esoteric theme, sacred geometry, mystical symbolism, and abstract visual metaphors. Shorts extraction. I can extract powerful moments and reformat them into 4 shorts for the day. Sacred illustration. Prompt. If you'd like a metaphysical diagram based on this video, I'll design a detailed prompt now. What would you like to move forward with?